So let's look into SharpShooter features in kind of a very abstract way and examine why on earth someone might want to use SharpShooter at all. And to find out why we need SharpShooter, we go to Perpetuum Software website, to Products Reporting page, and here we can read that SharpShooter is the most flexible .NET report engine, and so on. And I don't really want to read all that marketing gobbledygook, right? And I don't want you to read that. What I want to do is to kind of decipher this text and come up with my own list of hopefully more clear reasons of why someone might want to use SharpShooter. And let's start. Why SharpShooter? Second try. And the first reason is that it's flexible, and we have actually seen this flexible word in the previous slide. And what really flexibility means, and my take on that is that if you have a report, you have all those headers and footers and data behind your report, and layout and style. So something is green, something is bold, something is aligned on the right, and all those individual components of your report. It should be, if a reporting tool is flexible, it should be very easy to change them. So if your report was working off an XML file, if it was reading data from an XML file, then it should be very straightforward to change it to read the same data from a database. Or if your layout was that your headers were green, it should be very easy to change all your headers to be, I don't know, bold and red, for example. And with SharpShooter, it's indeed very easy to change those individual components within a report. And what is the next step? The next reason is that SharpShooter is feature-rich, which is kind of a fancy way to say that it gives you a lot of options where you can read the data from, and it gives you plenty of options of how you can display that data. And the next reason is that it's freewheeling. And when I was coming up with that list, I thought that it should be kind of interesting if I could come up with a list of words which start from the same letter. So I apologize if I got that wrong. But freewheeling in that case means that you're not really restricted to SharpShooter template when you're creating your report. You can actually call pretty much any .NET code at your disposal. So let me have that written down here. You're not restricted to the report template. You can incorporate third-party code in your reports. And that might sound actually a little bit cryptic, but just to give you a taste of that, let me give you this example. Imagine you have a prediction library, and this prediction library, it's a .NET library. It has nothing to do with SharpShooter at all. What it does, it gives you predictions for your data. So imagine you have a data set with your sales data over the last few years. And what you can do, you can throw that data set into the prediction library and say, like, what will be our sales in the next year? Can you predict that? And that prediction library, we'll do some sort of regression analysis on your data set and come back with a number, a list of numbers which denote the most probable sales in the next year given your sales over the previous years. And you can actually get the data and put them into a report and make some fancy report with that. But if you want to use that option, you don't really want to implement prediction code inside your report, right? It will be too complicated. And with SharpShooter, what you can actually do is just to call that prediction library from your report and get the data back inside your report and display it. This prediction library will not be part of the SharpShooter report, but still you will be able to use it. And this opens up a lot more interesting options, and I will be not talking about them in this set of videos, but I will be talking about them later on in more involved trainings. So that's about freewheeling. And lastly, SharpShooter is friendly, and you probably didn't expect that word on this list because, well, I assume that as you're watching a training video, you didn't think that SharpShooter was indeed very easy to use. And my goal in this series of lectures will be to actually persuade you or try to persuade you that SharpShooter is indeed very easy to use and that it has a pretty natural and straightforward workflow. So that's our list of the reasons why someone might want to use SharpShooter. And well, I said that my goal will be to persuade you that SharpShooter is easy to work with, but that's not very focused goal. And well, let's come up with a better goal for the session, and it is to get the intuition of what we can do in general in SharpShooter, what options are available for us, and then we'll look into how it works, just to get the intuition without getting too deep into details, just to have kind of an overview of how it's possible to achieve those all different kinds of reports and different features that SharpShooter allows us to use. And the agenda for that, the agenda to get this intuition, is to first look at report types. We'll have a look at different lists and groups and master details, all those different kinds of reports that are possible to create in SharpShooter. And then we'll look into features, those individual features which can be actually put into any kind of those report types. You can have pivot tables in lists and in groups, or you can have charts in any of those, or you can use scripting in any of those, and we will look into all those individual features one by one. And lastly, so those two is actually the what we can do part, and then we'll move on to SharpShooter 101, to how it works section, where we'll look into report viewer and report designer components and see how we can work with them. And then we'll have a Q&A section for your questions and hopefully my answers. So let's look into the first part. Let's discuss the report types.